Hello, peace and beautiful blessings to you. So last month I did not do the new moon or full moon. I think I might have did a full moon reading, but I know I didn't do the new moon reading because the eclipses, that eclipse season was particularly, I'll use the word activating. So my hair is all over the place. I need to retwist it, but I haven't decided what I'm going to do with it. So it's just existing on top of my head right now. So I wanted to do an aftermath reading of the energy of May's eclipses, because for me it was potent. I think I am just now finding my bearings and navigating like what that experience was like for me, and just really trying to disseminate the wisdom and understand the energies and the lessons and all the things. So let's just dive into it. I'm using my Energy and Spirit Oracle. This deck I did do a walkthrough of, and I want to edge it. I think I'm gonna do white edges on it, so that might be a project, something I allow myself to do this week, just to have like a little bit of a creative outlet. So I'm just gonna pull like an oracle card or two. I also have my tarot deck here and the Angel Wisdom Tarot. So let's see. Connections, your eternal spirit, and and confusion. I'm laughing because this is so spot on. So we have connections, your eternal spirit, and confusion. In the middle of all of this, in the middle of the confusion, in the middle of these sacred contracts, these partnerships, these connections, and these commitments is you, your higher self, right? So for anyone who still feels that they are in the throes of confusion, that I feel that that energy is still lingering, it's because maybe you have a lot of ideas, you have a lot of options, you have some choices that you need to make. Maybe you don't know which direction to go. You could be trying to like balance out your past and understand your present, and see what's going on with the future. But I feel like it's going backwards, right? So there's a lot of confusion, and you probably have received a lot of insights, maybe even some spiritual downloads or information from maybe partnerships, relationships, friendships, or yourself, right? Your higher self. But there's some information that came from another source, whether it was just like a knowing, whether it was actually someone telling you information, whether it's something you came across in an article. There was some sort of information that you came into contact with that you're not sure what to do with it. And for a lot of us, what I'm getting is that right here, we need to go within. We need to find out from our higher selves what it is that we need to do. A friend of mine recently told me, shared some wisdom that his mom gave him, is that if you don't know what to do, you be still and you do nothing. And that's exactly what is happening here. You can see that they are sitting kind of like in a meditative pose, very open and receptive, so that you can sense, so that you can feel the energies that are surrounding you, and that will help clear up the confusion. Many times we're not confused. Many times we know the answer, but we don't want to make the choice. We don't want, maybe we don't want that particular answer. Maybe we were expecting a different answer, a different outcome. And because it's not quite what we thought, we don't know what to do. So give me a second, and I'm gonna pull some cards just to kind of explain. So for a lot of people, your relationship space, whether it's an intimate relationship, whether it's self-loving, whether it's your connection to spirit, your connection to self. Hang on one second. there's something that shifted within your connections, or there's a change that you want to make, but you're not sure what it is. You may have a relationship that you want to work on. Maybe you want to build your own spiritual practice, ways to connect with your spirit. Maybe you're trying to work on yourself. Maybe you're working on self-love, wanting a commitment out of yourself, whether it's you decide that you're going to commit to working out, whether you decide that you want to enter into or rebuild a connection or commitment with another individual. That's what's coming up here with the Eight of Pentacles and connection. So let's take a look at this confusion. Here, what information? Okay. So, okay, this confusion does not look that bad, right? So here we have the Six of Wands and the Page of Pentacles, and it's almost like not knowing what to do in a new perspective or a new mindset. A lot of times we can fear, right? Fear of the unknown can be something beautiful. Starting a new job can be scary because you don't know what to expect. There's going to be a whole bunch of new people, new systems, new rules that you're going to have to follow. But in this case, it's like, so I'm hearing like investment. So whether it's this investment, right? You put in this investment, you decide that you want to work on this connection, you want to rebuild a connection, a partnership, a relationship, and doing that, it works. And so what can happen is that because you've decided, you've done the work, like now you're in a new space. If you transform a toxic relationship or, you know, an unhealthy one into something that is healthy and different, you aren't necessarily going to know how to handle it, which is why we have the Page of Pentacles here, is because it's like, okay, now what, right? Sometimes you're so used to like having to argue, having to get your point across, having to explain your needs or your thoughts or your feelings, and you get to a place where you're like, you no longer have to do that. Everything is new, everything is fresh, everything is different. You don't know how to navigate that space. So it's like how they say, you know, someone wins the lottery and now all of a sudden they're a multimillionaire. They don't have the skill set to handle that type of money. And so a lot of times they spend it on bullshit and the money's gone within a year and they're back to square one. It's because, again, Page of Pentacles, you didn't know what to do with it. So in this case, when you're feeling confused, look at the things that you have been successful at. Look at what's working. Look at the wins. Look at all the things that you have to celebrate, to be proud of within yourself, within your life, within your relationships, and then take your time and inspect it, right? So we have the Page of Pentacles here, and she's looking very intently at the pentacle, not necessarily like trying to take any steps, but really exploring things from a different perspective, looking at the things that you've manifested in your life, in your relationships from a different perspective, and really like looking at the details, getting down to the nitty-gritty. The thing about confusion is the answer is always there. And a lot of times when people, you know, whenever we say we don't know, we do know. We may not know how to articulate it. We may not want to say, but we always know. And so just being very mindful and knowing that you have what you need to make a decision, but it's going to rest upon you like really being confident and knowing, like really understanding and exploring the shift that has just happened in your life. Because it feels like for a lot of people, maybe, you know, this season has it's probably stirred up a lot of things. And so if you're feeling tender, if you're feeling sad, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you are feeling any of those things, if you're feeling down about yourself, this is a sign that you should not. Don't let the confusion up here get in the way or stop you. So like for me, for instance, I on this whole new path, right? I'm in school studying massage therapy. Love it, love it, love it. This is something that I've wanted to do since like 2018, and then the pandemic happened and a lot of things shifted and changed. The school that I was interested in going to, they closed, I think right before the pandemic, and I didn't want to go to one of the other schools. There was a particular massage therapist who was starting a school that was recommended to me by a dear friend who is a massage therapist. So I'm like, all right, I'm waiting on this And the school opened this year. I went to the open house. I'm in one of the first programs, so I'll be one of the first graduating classes, and it's phenomenal. Phenomenal, right? This is something that I had on my vision board, and I am in the actual manifestation of that, right? I can see it, like it's tangible. I'm doing it. So this is what that Page of Pentacles is. It's recognizing where you are in that journey, in that process of manifesting. So you may still be at this place where you're working on the pentacle and you don't have it in your hand yet. You haven't been able to come get it because he's still building it. It's still in the building phases and the building process. And what I'm seeing is that this connection is not about connecting with someone else. This is about you connecting in with you. What are you committing to? What is important to you? What are the things? What are the 8 things or the 2 things or the 3? What are the things that you are working on developing? What skills in yourself do you need to cultivate? Which ones do you need to master? Which ones do you need to let go of? That's what this is about. This is about you connecting into what is important to you. I remember I did a reading for June that talked about like coming home to oneself, and that's kind of what what I'm feeling with this too, is like you are forced to recommit and to connect and to honor the things within yourself that are important to you. And maybe for some of you it is a relationship. That's absolutely fine. But for others of you, it's things that are important to you, your dreams, your hopes, your wishes, your healing, your spirituality, your practices. And in the midst of that confusion, because so much is changing, you have to remember what you've come from, right? You have to remember how far you have made it. Like, you've accomplished a lot of things. I share this often, is that you make an accomplishment list of all the things you've done that you can remember in your lifetime, from the time you won the spelling bee in 1st grade to the time you had your first child, you graduated high school, you graduated college, you bought your first car, you paid off your debt, like all the things, small, huge, and everything in between. Write that down, because when you are feeling confused and when you're doubting yourself on a new journey, like, damn, can I really do this? Like, is this the right path for me? I don't know. We don't know, because we're still in the middle of the journey. Like, we haven't gotten to the end. So when you're on a new path or new journey, it can take you down so many different places. Today on my way home, I stopped at, there's this nature preserve that I drive by on my way to school, right? And it's in a different town, so it's not an area that I would normally pass. And every time I see it, I'm like, man, I should really go there. I have been feeling so shaken up, and like I said, I'm just now starting to feel settled, and it's probably because of this nature preserve. Never been there before. Got out, looked around, and I just started walking, and I started seeing these different paths. I was like, oh, okay, so here's a trail. Walk down the trail, and then I was like, is that the river? There's some way that this gets to the river. Me and water, I have to be around water. So I am walking, and I'm hearing all the birds just chirping, so many beautiful flowers and plants, and it's just quiet and healing, because now I'm among trees. I find like, hey, there's this river trail, so of course it's got to take me to the river. So I walk along the trail. It's beautiful. I have no idea where I am. I could get lost. I don't know who's out there, but I'm loving being among the trees. I was talking with one of my best friends on the phone, and it was just so magical and healing. And I could have allowed myself to be in a state of panic, not knowing, where does this trail go? Where's it gonna let me out? How far away is my car? What if there's a monster or a wolf in the woods, like a bear? But instead, I followed the path, and it took me to the river. And I sat there by the water on this fallen tree, and it was just so healing and so sacred. And then I was like, okay, like, let's navigate out. Which way do I go? I'm gonna keep walking. And eventually I got back to where I started from, And that is what this is all about, right? Following the path, following the journey, taking with you all of your wins and all of your successes, being confident in who you are, and taking the time to really examine you, where you are right now, how you are operating, the things that are working, not working, so on and so forth, so you know what to do going forward. If you have been given a seed, a vision, a gift, whatever, there's something that you're supposed to do with it, and maybe you don't know what to do with it for now, and that's okay. Trust yourself that you know how to move forward. Trust yourself that you eventually will know what to do, because your intuition, your spirit, your ancestors, they are trying to commune with you. They want to have a conversation. So for a lot of you, that's going to mean turning off the phone, getting off the internet, and making some time for meditation, whether it's a walking meditation, whether it's a quiet stillness meditation, whatever type of meditation works for you to be able to hear what is going on, communicating with your ancestors. Another way that you can do that is through automatic writing. And look, I was just talking about sitting down by the river, and here we have this. So again, you might need to get away, take yourself to a new place, another place, somewhere maybe out in nature. That's coming up a lot in these cards. We've got trees and nature here as well. Somewhere where you are disconnected from your everyday, day-to-day world, somewhere where you can dream, where you can adventure. That is going to be very important for you to like clear your mind and energy. Like I said, I have been feeling like just okay, like I don't even have words for it right now, but it was not a good way. It was like so many things have been unearthed for me with these past 2 eclipses, like, and then let's not even talk about Mercury and now Saturn retrograde. Anyways, so it's going to be important for you to step away from your normal and like go to somewhere that's a little magical. Again, look, the Hermit, again, we connect to your light within. Take yourself out of your normal routine. Go somewhere different. If you go to the park already, maybe go to a park on another side of town. If you can, afford to take yourself on a trip, go somewhere, hop in the car, pack a bag, drive to the beach, drive to the mountains. Just go somewhere different where you can allow yourself to be surrounded in nature, have some quiet solitude with yourself, because that is what's going to help you navigate out of this confusion. It's going to also give you clarity around your connections with other people. It's going to allow you to see, how are you loving yourself? How are you honoring your own boundaries, your own beliefs, your own wants, needs, and desires before you even consider adding someone else's energy into that mix as well. So, let me see if there's any guidance or wisdom that wants to come through, since I have this deck. I've got my angel wisdom deck here. I love working with the angels. This is so funny that this came up in the cards. But yeah, let's just see a card here for just some additional guidance to move forward with this information. How can you integrate it? How can you make the most out of the message in this? And here we have the 10 of water. So this is all about, as you can see, there's the rainbow up there. This is about being happy. This is emotional contentment. So again, that's coming up with partnerships. And then the 6 of wands, like being okay with yourself is so freaking important. And this is like a loving relationship. So this can be with family. This can also be you. This could be you and your spiritual team. This can be you and your ancestors. This can be you, your higher self, your inner child, So like this is just complete happiness and following the breadcrumbs of happiness. What are the things that make you happy? And it's so funny because there was a farmhouse out there at the preserve that I was at that's kind of similar to this. But you have to focus on your happiness. Too often and again, that's where, the 6 of wands comes in. This is like celebrating yourself. Too often we allow other people's judgments or thoughts or our own fears and limiting beliefs to help amplify the confusion. But if we know what's going to make us happy, and we are brave enough and bold enough and courageous enough to take action on those things, then that will eliminate confusion. Not all confusion is bad confusion. Sometimes it just means you need to stop because you're not going in the right direction. Sometimes it just means pause, because this is not the time for you to know. This is not the time for you to do. This is really just the time for you to just be. So you have to honor that. Anytime you are confused, just take a break and pause. And if you are able to disconnect from TV, from social media, from all the medias, and give yourself a break to reconnect, to honor yourself. And like, so I have a gratitude journal that I always write in. It includes like my accomplishments, things that I'm really proud of myself for, and things that I'm grateful for. So I'll just go in and just add to the list, like I'm grateful for this and I'm grateful for that. Anytime I feel confused or like doubting myself, I can always go back and read it and say, look at all the things that I do, look at all the things that I have to be grateful for. And that gives me a really great boost of positive energy, of belief in myself. And it really helps me to reconnect within, so then I am able to see and sense how to navigate any challenges that I have. Of course, there are times when I have to phone a friend because I'm like, listen, I am overwhelmed. I am in over my head. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Help. And I'm so grateful that I can do that, even as a healer, as a coach, as a tarot reader. I think it's important that we honor and acknowledge the fact that we all need people. I need people. I don't want to have to hold space for myself by myself all the time. I've done that and I was successful at it, but it was at a time when I should not have had to do that. And therefore, you know, I had to learn how to open up and how to allow people to be there for me, because it was something that I was not used to. And I think it's just important, like we all need each other in so many ways. So I'm going to end on that note. I hope that this has touched you, moved you in some way, gave you some inspiration, and illuminated some things that were going on with you. My website is live, jovhannatisdale.com. The link will be in the description. You can check out the energy healing services I have. Got lots of blog posts up there as well, and as well as you can book a reading with me. So have a beautiful and blessed day. I'll see you again soon. Peace.